Hi, everybody. This is Natalie Stillwell from So Goes the Future. And today I'm here with a mother that I got to meet in an online group. So that's one of the blessings of having the internet in our day and age, connecting with moms all over the world. And this is Kimberly. Kimberly, do you mind telling us your last name? Because I don't think I can pronounce it.
Is Vouriotis.
Vouriotis. It's Greek?
Greek, yep.
Nice. So Kimberly, she has a website, The Unorthodox Mom. It doesn't mean unorthodox in the sense of faith, but in the sense of the way that she is raising her children and homeschooling them. They're doing a little bit of world schooling. So Kimberly, do you mind just telling us a little bit more about how you serve moms and your own motherhood?
Yeah, thank you. So I have 5 kids. They range from 11 to 19. And I just graduated my oldest one out last year. And I just like to serve moms because we all have struggles and at different stages too, as the kids grow and their different personalities. And so, we started homeschooling when my oldest was in kindergarten. And we just decided that that was what was right for our family.
That's awesome. And you started the Unorthodox Mom because you want to help support other moms who want to do some sort of out of the box approach with their parenting and raising children?
Yeah, and just to let moms know that there's support, that they're not alone, and that we all struggle. And sometimes we feel alone in those struggles, but we've all gone through it in some shape or form.
Yes. And I love that you have so much experience. I mean, your children are much older and you've been through all of the things. So I'm sure there's so much we can all learn from you. Today, we are focusing on, as parents, how do we navigate the temptations of being digitally distracted when so many of us really want to be present and active in our children's lives as much as we possibly can. So I'm wondering if you've had any struggles yourself, if you've seen any effects with your own children of when you find yourself getting caught up in the digital world.
Yeah, it's crazy because I actually have limits on my kids' tablets and computers and everything, and certain times they're like, why do we have to have this? And then other times, even my 11-year-old is like, Mom, I'm really glad that you do that for me because I wouldn't do it otherwise. And for him to realize that is a huge thing. And so I think I've started setting limits for myself because I didn't have that self-control either. If I'm expecting that of them, I should probably be doing it as well. It is hard because we get just as wrapped up just as easily. It's made to grab our attention. It's made to keep reeling and rolling. So every time you refresh it, something new is coming up, and we just get addicted to it as well. So I think that what it is just taking intentional time to step away from it. We don't allow electronics at dinner at all, even whether we're eating out or in, and we always have dinner together as a family. I think that's just great values and morals that we learn from each other during that time. I just think that getting out, like we forget how important play is. And play isn't on just the internet. It is throwing a football, outside. It is playing cards, family game nights, things like that.
I love that. So both of us grew up in a time before cell phones, before smartphones, before really even the internet. It was barely coming into popularity as I was getting out of high school. And so I'm thankful my mother, I never saw her surfing social media and being lost in her phone or like working from home on a computer or anything like that. Whereas a lot of us, I mean, I'm a teacher right now. I teach high school and I come home at night and I have so much work I still have to do. And the next thing you know, something distracts me on social media and I've wasted time there. And like my son is spending too much time on screens and I just feel so sad about that. And I know I'm not the only mom who is struggling in that area. Um, let's see where to go from here. I have personally decided to keep my phone on vibrate most of the time. If I have something important that I know I'm going to be hearing from someone, I'll check it periodically. But otherwise, I don't want to be distracted by all the alarms telling me someone posted on social or I got random texts, like I let my friends and family know. I'm not always going to respond instantly, to help keep that temptation of jumping on my phone and getting lost and everything. And then I also have noticed when I start my day, I have to really intentionally like try to get up before my child and spend time doing things for myself, spend my time with God, then, like in a very meaningful, intentional way. And I cannot get on a screen. I cannot allow social media because it'll just kind of put me in a wasteful place all day long. Does that bring up any other thoughts for you around this?
Yes. So, especially because I have teens and tweens right now, it was a lot easier when they were younger that I set a bedtime for them. I mean, they were in bed by 8 because to me, I needed that time to unwind and prepare myself for the next day, whether it was reading, journaling, Bible study. But now it's harder to get them to be in their bed at 8. It's more like 10, it's finally rolling around and it's about time that they go to bed, because we've been a lot more lenient over the last year with COVID and stuff. So, but even just having them in their own rooms at that time so that they're getting that wind down time too, I think is still very important. But I think as moms, we tend to go all day that we forget. So I love that you get up in the morning. I think even just taking 10 or 15 extra minutes every day without the internet, without the phones, without, reaching for that first, but grabbing your Bible, grabbing a journal, or not. Maybe even it's just music. For me, it's always chaotic. So just stillness is what I just need, that time alone. And there was something else you had mentioned about that I wanted to say. Oh, we have a charging station. So at night, all electronics, computers, everything are on the charging station. And again, I am not held accountable for that. So I'm starting to now put all of my stuff out there too. So they'll start to see that my stuff is where their stuff is supposed to be at night. It's not in anybody's rooms. It's not, there's a time for it. And then we also wait until 2 o'clock in the afternoon before they can even ask for anything. School has to be done. I have to look at it. And, that there's been so many times where just like, I'm bored. I'm like, there's so much to do. You don't need your electronics. So that's earned time. Just because it's 2 o'clock doesn't mean you get it. Again, I'm probably a little more strict about that because I do think that just connecting is so important, and you get better connection. We can't really get it with our friends and family right now. And so this is what we have, and we still really need that.
I love that so much, especially teaching high school. Like I can tell when I've talked to my students about these issues, they need someone who is older and wiser to put limits on them. Even though they are going to complain, they know that they need the limits, especially around social media, because it's causing them to become very depressed a lot of times.
Yeah.
But I love also that you have like a curfew. I kind of have a curfew because I actually like turn off a lot of the breakers in the house, which includes my Wi-Fi.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I like my home to be like more electromagnetically calm at nighttime because we're just all buzzing all the time from all the things. And so we are kind of forced to not use any devices other than, I guess, the cell phone, but I put it on airplane at night. But I love that you have these set curfews even as to when you're allowed to access those things. That's great.
And we are extreme. I mean, people think again, it's that, outside the box stuff. But my son is 19. He did not get onto Instagram until he was 18 because social media, again, their kids' brains aren't developed until they're 25, right? And they just need more of the interaction than the scrolling, I think. He actually just got his first Facebook thing because he was doing a challenge on there, and that's where the platform was. My 16-year-old got super excited. She just turned 16 in January, and she thought she was getting a phone. And guess what? Happy birthday, we love you, but you don't get a phone. I mean, she had one when she used to babysit and stuff, but I think it takes away from the family time. But she does do Zoom calls, and I know a lot of kids are zoomed out right now, but some are still really excited to connect. And she Zooms with kids all over the country and stuff. So I'm not saying they're like held in this little bubble and they're locked in their rooms for 23 hours a day. They do have access to, calling, emailing, Zooms, Hangouts, they do Pinterest with their friends and stuff. So they still get it. It's just not to an extreme.
I love that. I also think it's good to help them to see they can have self-control and they can set their own boundaries one day if they realize that social media is being more harmful than positive for them. Like they can set parameters for themselves because you're helping them flex that muscle. Because so much of these past couple generations have been saturated in smartphones and internet and gaming devices and AirPods, right? For so long. It's just a part of the day-to-day rhythm. They don't even conceptualize of the childhoods we had where we were outdoors and we were forced to talk to our friends in class and we would pass notes and we couldn't pretend we were taking notes in class and be surfing the internet and playing games. So I also thought of a couple of practical things that I've had to start doing for myself when I'm at home with my child. I try my best to get all of my online activities done at my job because I do have to work. I'm a single mama. But if I have to bring my work home, I try to keep a little notepad next to my computer where I can like write down, okay, here are the 3 to 5 things that I absolutely need to be getting done right now on the internet and like not allowing myself to check social or anything. I'll give myself like a window at night where I can check personal emails, check social, and allow myself to get lost for just a little window and then be done with it. And I'll also keep that notepad so that if I see something while I'm online and I'm like, oh, I really want to look at that, I want to come back and listen to that talk or something, I'll like write it down. I'll be like, okay, I'm just going to sleep on it. If I still think it's important and useful to my life, tomorrow or this weekend, then I can come back to it intentionally and just keep my blinders on while I'm online. Do you have any other thoughts that are coming up?
The thing that has also worked for me is to set a timer. My brain goes crazy in 15 directions. And as you know, when you get on internet, you go down those little rabbit holes or whatever. And so if I set a timer, I am more focused on what it is that I need to do in the moment, whether it's, grading somebody's paper or the me time to, get away from the kids and actually be on some social media myself, but to set a timer for that. So that, because you could get lost in that, right? I mean, time can just fly right by and you're like, oh my gosh, an hour went by and I haven't done anything that I sat down to do.
So true. Every now and then, if I feel like I need to do something mindlessly entertaining online, I'll do something with my child. Like maybe we'll watch like some funny animal videos or something. And it's a way for us to kind of bond and laugh and de-stress. So we can still use the technology, but it's all within an intentional container. So I do like doing that too in my particular case. Let's see. I also have sometimes stopped following people on social if I find that it's causing distress in my life in any way, because I just don't need all of that. Like we are just bombarded with information and people's opinions all the time. And I think sometimes too, we just need to pare back the things we're allowing to be alerting us about.
It's true. Yes.
Do you have any other thoughts on that?
No, you said that very well.
Okay, good. I'm just trying to see if I have anything else that's super important. I don't want to keep all of our moms too long here. Yeah. Okay, I think that's the majority of what I've got. Yeah. So if anybody wants to follow you and see what you are doing for moms and what you're doing with all your children, because that's so exciting. You got some traveling in the future when COVID winds down, world schooling type things. Where can people find you?
So I am on Facebook at the Unorthodox Mom and unorthodox and just unorthodoxmom.com. And I am rolling out a productive mom free course, which will turn into another course if moms are interested in just redefining their identity and setting their mindset, so that they can be, well, really so they can love and value themselves so that they can pour into their family without losing themselves in the process.
Very important.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Kimberly. This has been
Thank
really
you.
helpful.
I appreciate it.